Somebody asked, now that we have data, what are we gonna do with the
data?
The data.
So something that you really mentioned that really resonated with me was how you're in this. You went into the space facility so that you said a job is a launchpad. So a job was something that was able to make sure that you get money into your wallet, then use that money to really accelerate your other businesses that are only meant for you. So one thing that I really that came to my mind was that that entrepreneurial spirit. We need to stop teaching people, because when you go on LinkedIn or when you go everywhere, people are always, I can help you optimize your CV, I can help you recreate your CV, but no one is really talking about how can I teach you to draft a business proposal? How can I teach you to find opportunities around you? People are always CV this, CV that, but none are really focusing on high praise. I can teach you to draft a business proposal of the idea that you have, even if it's a business of selling tomatoes. How do you draft a business proposal for that? So that is the mindset that really people in Africa really need to move away from. Because even at home, parents are always saying, you're after school, after university, have you been sending out CVs? How many emails have you sent? But no parents are asking, what is it that you want to do besides
what's your
gifts?
What are your talents? There's no one who came to earth without a gift or a talent. Everybody has come to earth. I always tell the young people in schools, I get paid to use my tongue. My gift is tied to my tongue. I'm a science communicator. So I had to brush up on my English language. It's not my first language, but I had to brush up on it. Today I chair committees globally with other space agencies working to build the capacity of organizations in developing countries to use Earth observation effectively. So the best skill in the fourth industrial revolution for me is the best skill during the industrial revolution, one, during the agrarian era. It always will be. The top skill is the ability to sell. Underlying that skill is the ability to communicate. Who wins the Salesman of the Year award? Is a communicator, that person. So we need to fall in love with this idea that we were born with a gift of value. School's role is to polish this gift. I mean, I will go to school knowing how to talk, but not knowing how to read, not knowing how to write. But in the 21st century, we need to go beyond reading words, right? We need to begin to know how to read financial statements. Because as you are praised, you are a financial statement. There's a financial statement attached to you with cash flowing into your pocket and out of your pocket through expenses, right? So we need to become so conscious, so literate financially that we begin to use financial literacy as a decision support tool. A job puts active income in my pocket so that the digestive system is satisfied with breakfast, lunch and dinner. But then after my stomach is full and all my basic needs are met, I have a roof over my head, I can travel in a car that I control, not just limited to public transport, right? Then I need to begin to get to higher needs. And the two primary needs all humans have is the need to grow and the need to contribute, to go beyond myself. If you want to get paid a lot of money, to the young people now that we are reaching out to, service to many leads to greatness. I used to serve 2,000 people. Today I serve over 50,000 young people in 1 year. And my target is to get to 13.5 million young people in the school system, 410,000 educators, because we shouldn't assume that the education is only for the learners. Teachers need to retrain. If teachers are earning, generally it's assumed teachers are not well paid. If I'm a teacher and I receive a salary, that's phase one, tick box. I must turn this active income into passive income by minding my own business, by turning my house into the center of research, development, and innovation, by finding a business that resonates with me. I grew up in South Africa where land is in the hands of the minority. What is my relationship with land? At SANSA, we develop human settlements layer, which shows you where all the humans live in the nation. Eskom used that data to actually determine the rate of demand for electricity versus the rate of supply. And that's how we knew that in the future we will have something called load shedding. And so you see how this data influences decision making. But then I need us to go beyond the human settlement layer that provides insight to the human settlements department and all companies that deal with human settlements like Eskom, like municipalities delivering services to the communities. We need to get our young people to invest in real estate. Do you know what real in real estate is? It's royal. It's the real in real estate is royal estate. Automatically, by getting involved in real estate, this is the estate of the kings. We, you and me, you were born to be a queen. I was born to be a king. But we were programmed to be slaves who work for money. So we need to reprogram our subconscious mind with ideas that cancel that wrong programming of go to school, get good grades, graduate, get a good job with benefits, stay loyal until 60, 65, rely on your pension until you die. Okay, this is what I do for me. Where is intergenerational wealth? It doesn't exist in this equation. We need to think institutions. We need to build family trusts. We need to build institutions that support the economy of the household. In fact, in my forecast, by 2035, the biggest industry in South Africa should be the household market, where it becomes the center of economic activity. And for that to happen, we need to conscientize households about tax incentives government put in place for us to build businesses and investment portfolios. This is my philosophy, and I am role modeling this philosophy. I'm not just talking about it. I stand as a living example of what's possible. When government invests in you like they did 25 years ago for me, I reciprocate by investing in myself. Warren Buffett, the world's richest investor, says the best investment you can ever make, and this is for the young people, it's an investment in yourself. Investing time, investing effort, investing mindset, investing some money. Take a portion of your money like a good farmer who takes a portion of the harvest and buries it back into the ground because he knows the next season is coming. And that farmer will harvest perpetually because that's R&D. Government has a target to invest 1.5% of its GDP in research, development, and innovation. I think the household market is sitting on trillions and trillions of dollars in potential, and that's what the strategy I'm putting together called the Space Education Strategy for 2025 to 2030. It's about bringing business consciousness into everything we do, seeing life as a business.
So amazing. So you mentioned that you should invest in your time, your mind, yourself. So this reminds me of there's an author in Zimbabwe named he's an advocate, Arthur Marara. He always, whenever he starts talking, his mantra is, no one is coming to save you. No one is really coming to save you. So I think that is what most people, especially in the African societies, most people sleep thinking that no, someone is just supposed to see me walking in the streets, then they have to pick me and say, you're worried about this, I can help you. But then we always emphasize, when you take time to invest in yourself, then it makes it easier for people who have access to resources and information to pour that into you. But then if you don't invest in yourself, your time, your even appearance, then people are too judgmental, they won't have the trust. But when you invest in yourself, it's really like young people, it's something that I always tell my friends, that guys, we need to invest in ourselves, because if we sleep today, we are going to regret it tomorrow. This is something that's very fundamental.
In your culture, do you have the same saying? I'm Pedi from Limpopo. We have a saying called Homo Otsoshwa Ye Tsosha. In other words, a cow that's struggling there, stuck in the mud, and it can't stand, but it is trying. It is trying. Those who come with a big stick put underneath it and help it, they only help the one that's trying to stand. The one that's just sitting there and saying, I'm stuck. We pass it.
We pass because we think it's okay.
And those with knives and plastics starts to be ready because they know this is gonna be meat for tonight. So we need to. There was a president in South Africa called Thabo Mbeki. He promoted this concept called Vukuzenzele. Stand up and do for yourself. That stuck with me. I was a young man. I actually got the chance to meet and shake his hand. It stuck with me. No one is coming to save us. There is a Messiah in each one of us. We need to save ourselves and stop relying on the handouts from other nations. We need to stand up as young Africans and build businesses and investment portfolios and recognize that a job is just a launching pad. And do our best. Do you know what happens when you invest in yourself and you run your own businesses and investment portfolios? You learn about governance. Do you know what you bring to the workplace? That 200% year on year doesn't happen by itself. It's because of lessons I'm learning in my business, and I want to leave a legacy, and I'm teaching my children, the girls in my family. I'm the only man in my family. So teaching them that, by the way, Robert Kiyosaki wrote the best career book ever written. And I hope every young person, I modeled my entire career around it. It talks about the 4 people you find in the world of business. Employees, and the majority of people on the planet earn money through employment. Business owners, self-employed, and investors. What excited me the most when I read that book in 2005, and I read that book every day because it's a model for my vocation area. He said you can earn money as an employee, you can earn money as a business owner, you can earn money as an investor, you can earn money as self-employed. Now this is called multiple sources of income. This is the only way we rise above. The top 3% on the planet earn 97% of all the money. And 97% of the population share the remaining 3%. I grew up on the 97% who share the remaining 3%. I don't have a choice where I am born, but I will not die there. I die at the top 3% because that's where I made a conscious decision to migrate out of poverty into wealth. So I became a wealth creator because I believe that I am not here to take handouts or leftovers that fall off the master's table. I believe that my table is the master's table. Gauteng is where we used to live, our rural areas, to come to the white men's factories to work. I am a white man today. I am the job creator of today. Now imagine if every young person who has the privilege of having a job in South Africa adopted this attitude that I'm not just a consumer of jobs, but I am a producer of jobs. And I create jobs for other people, the suppliers who bring me inputs that I process and send as market destined products and services. That's the value chain. Inputs, processing, output destined for the market, the production mandate, the leadership mandate, the management mandate. What we manage well progressively grows. What we mismanage progressively dies. Multiplication mandate, service mandate, work mandate. Now a job is what we are trained to do. Work is what we were born to do. So we need to understand these subtle differences and get young people understanding that a job is a man-made platform. One day they can say, oh, your directors have mismanaged the company and the company is closing down. And you've built an entire family livelihood around that. This is one single point of failure. Or due to changes in trends in the economy, your business, COVID, how many businesses went under during COVID?
Almost 6%.
Who's to say there's no other COVID coming up? No. And so we should not have short memories. Global pandemics are disruptive, but there are industry disruptions like me bringing in this disruptive way of thinking into the education sector to revolutionize education and put back at the center the primary teacher of a child and holder of the education mandate, and that is the parent. We can't relegate our duties to teachers who are parents themselves. The teacher can't teach my child better than they can teach their own. So we need to understand that they teach academics. Where are children going to learn entrepreneurship? At home, at the breakfast, lunch and dinner table. How are the wealthiest intergenerational families? The Ruperts, the Oppenheimers. I'll include the Motsepes.
Yes, please do.
The Masiiwas.
Yes.
The Ramaphosas. You think they are intergenerational thinkers? These are entrepreneurs who look at their children's children. Intergenerational thinking. You can't just think about me. Look at your own family tree. The 8 people who came together for you to end up being born. Who gave birth to the 4, who gave birth to the 2 called your parents, who gave birth to you. Along that family tree, there is a pioneer. Somebody who did something in 18 something. I have such. My grandfather, an industrialist. And so each time I entertain the idea with all this technology at my disposal, I think of that man. And I say that man bought 3 big farms. With what? When segregation was at its highest. And here I am, living in the capital. This is the center of South Africa's economy, Gauteng province. With all this technology, with all these satellites giving me the whole world in the palm of my hands. Artificial intelligence. I can get anything anywhere today. And here I am still saying, yeah, I'm poor. I can't be poor.
You can't do it.
This episode of Chiedza to Africa is proudly sponsored by Tank Pro. Tank Pro under Elite Tank Limited. is your premier business consultancy, transforming vision into excellence for students and businesses worldwide. Offering professional short courses, website development, digital marketing, project management, bookkeeping, business support, and HR solutions. They are here to elevate your success. Dial +44 73 916 373 70, or you can WhatsApp, or visit www.tankpro.co.uk to learn more and take the next step towards your goals. Stay tuned in for more inspiring content.
So you mentioned that as African, we need to move away from handouts. I think the pandemic, where every business was under lockdown, we couldn't do much. I think that's a notebook on its own that African governments, communities need to learn from. And even the recent events that have happened in the world, beginning January, international conflict, the donors closing down, even there were
tariffs being imposed.
There were even recent threats to close the major transportation routes for oil. And that's something that most people are sleeping on. Like, people were creating memes, talking about it on social media, but people are forgetting that if people with these resources really say we are now shutting down, what are we going to do? Where do we stand? So we need to we now have a rocket that wants to go into space, put on our own satellite in orbit. That is something that we need to build on every day, so that when the international community decides to close doors of their own,
Africa must be self-sufficient.
We won't be affected by anything.
Do you know what the greatest disease is that I've picked up in my 24 years of working? It's dependency. So, I'll tell you what I wrote in my book, Thriving in the Fourth Industrial Revolution. I realized when I started working, I thought I am independent because I'm no longer dependent on my parents. I wasn't independent. All I did, and all of us who are graduates who get jobs and think we are independent, we substituted our source of dependency from parents who are probably old and in retirement to employer. What happens if you lose that job? What happens for reason A, B, or C? Be it some industry trend that renders your business obsolete. What happens when you lose that job? A young man in Botswana, a diamond producing nation, and now the demand for diamond goes down. It did in 2008. That's a serious problem. If a young man in Phalaborwa, Limpopo, Mopani district of Limpopo province, who's used to the Phalaborwa mine being there, and it has been given a lifetime of up to 2033, and they don't start making changes today to entertain new ideas, and they just continue to ride that wave, I'm going to tell you there will be a disaster in 2033. With all the skills developed for an industry that is dead, and then a town that is dead, because what has happened to all the gold mines in the West Rand? They are dead towns. Extracting minerals from underground has a shelf life. And mines in decline, it's a serious indicator to begin to think, to diversify the economy. That's what the current president of Botswana is trying to do. That's what every president on the planet should be doing. But then it shouldn't end with governments. It should go to households. If SANSA is paying me a nice salary to be space education manager, it's wonderful. What happens the day that that salary is taken away for reason A, B, or C? I need to develop multiple sources of income. How about this? In fact, one of the innovations I'm bringing with the space education strategy is this idea that, what day is it today? You say it's Monday. I say, no, it's payday. And what is tomorrow? It's not Tuesday, it's payday. How about entertaining the idea of making every day payday? How many sources of income does government have? Lots. How many sources of income does a graduate have? One, after tax. That doesn't show thinking at all.
You know, there's this friend of mine, because I used to work for a local TV station, and then one day I just decided to hand in my resignation. Then I left the 9 to 5 job. So when he was asking me, where are you going where they're paying you more? And I was honest with him to say, no, I'm going where there's not even much money, but I am going there for growth. I need to learn how to think for myself. Yes. I'm going there for growth, because if I'm coming here every day, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, I'm stuck behind the desk. I'm doing repetitive work each and every day. I produce this show, tomorrow I'm editing the script. And no, I need somewhere where I'm challenged to say, can you write an article? Can you do this? But his defense was, no, I am safe here. This company, it seems like a safe place. It will never close down. But recent events have been showing him that, no, you are in the wrong. Now, when you saw me at the airport coming to South Africa, I was like, you are now showing up signs. And I was like, no, I left because now the growth that I left for is now allowing me to do much more and to have much more opportunities. Because if I was still stuck at that job, I wouldn't have been having this conversation with you.
No, and that is the for me. I mean, I'm in every classroom challenging the young people. I really am there to challenge them to think like an entrepreneur, to think like, I mean, your mandate, praise, and my mandate is global in nature. Yet, look at what else we are doing. It's not uncommon to restrict yourself to a district of your nation. In South Africa, we have 52 of them. So I always talk about the kid who grows up in Bochum, goes to primary in Bochum, secondary school in Bochum, goes to Bochum College, becomes a teacher at a school in Bochum, marries a girl from Bochum, built a house in Bochum, and occasionally when they go to Polokwane, that's like, oh, that's an outing. You're restricting yourself to a very small portion of your full mandate. The entire planet. I refused. You know, I come from a family of teachers. My father was a teacher. My grandfather was a teacher all the way back. We are famous for teaching. I refused to teach in a school. And my reason was very simple. The whole world is my classroom. The whole world is my classroom. Look at a platform like yours, Chiedza Africa, that you are making available to me as a space for professional that can be watched by everybody anywhere on the surface of the earth. In this technology of Facebook, and you know, you can be a post, you can restrict it, you can open it. It can be read by anybody anywhere. It can enrich lives wherever they interact with your post. And so global is how we should think.